So it's not an intellectual exercise for me. They are targeting California. They're going after the state like no other state in America. And it is a preview for all of you, a preview for things to come. This is America's coming attraction. What's happened all across this state, the weaponization of grievance, what's happened with the nationalization of the Guard, that's a national order, not an order for LA that can occur any day, anywhere. This has to be called out. So it's a moment for all of us to be held to a higher level of accountability.
Doc, we got two friends in LA. Do you feel like this is necessary? Was it necessary in LA? Is it good that it's spreading? Is it bad?
Those motherfuckers ain't gonna be affected. And I don't know, maybe in LA it was necessary. I mean, them boys was throwing bird scooters off of the on-ramp at the police. So the police might have needed some help there. But I think in general, I don't think that this would be the way he should do it, because I don't think that's what the National Guard is for, just like police in the streets. I think he should have come up with some policy or sat down with police and figured out some way to, fix the police department. I'm glad that he's attempting to do something, you know what I mean? That's a positive thing, but I think what he's doing, I don't think that would be the way I would want it to go.
For sure. Enzo, what about you?
Oh, I think it's completely necessary at the end of the day. Well, it was necessary in LA. I think it's necessary in DC. DC is our capital at the end of the day. If we're having crime like how it's been for the last couple of years in DC, and all the crime that hasn't been reported, like I don't want to go off the statistics whatsoever, because there's plenty of evidence to prove that at least 60% of violent crimes don't go reported. The police departments don't report those statistics to the FBI. So for them to sit there and say that it's a 30-year low is absolutely ludicrous at the end of the day, when they don't even have the full numbers, because no department of the United States gives 100%. So when I was in DC, I'm going to speak from my anecdotal experience when I was there. You could just walking around at night, I did not feel safe there. I'm going to be honest. During the day, same thing. I did not really feel that safe there. It's the same thing when I go to New York. I don't feel safe in New York. And for that to be our capital city, it should be a model city where there should practically be no crime at the end of the day. That is our capital. That is where the president lives. That's where all the federal buildings are. That's how it should be, in my eyes. So by putting the National Guard there to clean up the streets for however long it is, from what I've heard, they should only be there for a month, and then they can extend it. Who knows? Whatever it takes to clean up DC and get the homeless people off the streets and bring down crime, they need to do so, because obviously the police were not capable of doing that. So for them to step in and alleviate that off the police and get more police officers, retrain them on how they should be doing things, it actually helps and alleviates pressure from the police department, in my eyes.
So yeah, you're right that it's 30 days and Trump is trying to skip Congress to make it longer. So I'm gonna play this video and have Mia and King J respond, because even though the mayor is pushing back on Trump, she's complying with everything that Trump says. But I'll play what she said.
Also true that we experienced a crime spike post-COVID, but we worked quickly to put laws in place and tactics that got violent offenders off our streets and gave our police officers more tools, which is why we have seen a huge decrease in crime because of those efforts. We have been able to reverse that 2023 crime spike. This year, crime isn't just down from 2023, it's also down from 2019, before the pandemic, and we're at a 30-year violent crime low. We're not satisfied. We haven't taken our foot off the gas, and we continue to look for ways to make our city safer.
So Mia, the mayor comes out and says that, but like I said, she's complying with everything Trump says. Does it even matter that she's saying this? Like, is it an effect?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, DC is District of Columbia. It is its own entity, and legally, Congress has the right to do whatever they see fit in the confines of DC. DC is neither Maryland nor anything. It is 1000%, 100% due to the clause in the Constitution, federally controlled by Congress. So it doesn't matter. She doesn't have a say. The council in DC doesn't have a say. Congress holds the key to the castle when it comes to DC. And unfortunately, Congress is conservative as of this point in time, and their initiatives are going to be completed. So I'm glad she's playing ball, because honestly, she would be stupid to fight back. Like I said, DC is unique in the United States that it's its own entity. Right? It's completely controlled by the feds. So it makes no sense for her to get bad publicity, to act a fool by calling the president out. She's just better off agreeing, because at the end of the day, her and the city council have no say. They don't actually control DC. They don't actually run anything, because they don't get the final say. I mean, there's a ton of clauses built into the actual literal Constitution that says Congress can actually expedite any disapproval for anything they do. So they're just basically puppets. At this point in time, they hold no real power in DC.
King Jay, we haven't got your opinion on DC. What do you think about DC overall?
I think what's going on down there is quite disgusting. Those people are still United States citizens. They should have some type of representation. There should not be one unilateral voice for an entire population that's almost bigger than an entire state. I will say, so far as her response, I like her response, because I think later on is going to allow us as Democrats to build a case on why DC needs to have its own statehood. As we can see, we have seen a president unilaterally take over the police department, which I think later on in a couple of years is going to give the next representative or the next person that's in charge a reason to give statehood to DC, because I don't think that I don't know the population off the top of my head, but for one person such as the president to be able to just shut out almost 400, I think it's like 400,000 people's voices, is absolutely wrong and goes completely against democracy.
Okay, so it seems to be like a lot of arguments about data with everything that everyone is saying. So I think that it'll be shocking with this clip, because Trump is actually right here with someone who goes against what Trump is actually saying is going on.
Donald Trump's handpicked FBI director, Kash Patel, did something absolutely fascinating yesterday during Donald Trump's press conference. He kind of went rogue, and you can see Trump. He doesn't like it. Trump puts that pursed lips sort of expression on that he does when he doesn't like what's being said. The entire press conference was meant to tell us crime is so bad everywhere, thanks to Democrats who run cities and states, but especially in Washington, D.C. Crime is so bad that Trump is declaring an emergency, deploying federal troops, nationalizing D.C. law enforcement, bulldozing encampments of homeless people, because crime is so bad. And Kash Patel gets up there and he actually goes, oh, the murder rate is coming down, and it's coming down very quickly. Take a listen to this and you can see Kash is off message. Kash is making a great argument against his own boss.
Our children, and the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities.
Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem. And I get that he's saying it's thanks to Trump that this is going on. Kash Patel is correct. The MAGA narrative depends on painting every American city run by Democrats as this lawless dystopian wasteland overrun by gangs and dangerous immigrants and George Soros-funded prosecutors who won't do anything about crime. But the data paints a very different picture. And the data is a betrayal of the entire point of this press conference. And Trump does not like being contradicted. You see it on his face. It's one of this would be like if, Kim Jong-un's general walked in and said at a rally about how great the economy is, that the economy isn't doing so hot or something like that. Cash is going off script, and he is completely making irrelevant the entire pretext, context, and environment in which Donald Trump says he needs to do all of these things. Now, the question, of course, is when does Kash Patel get the call to clarify his comments? And my assumption would be that that would be something like, although thanks to Donald Trump, the murder rate is down nationally, there are blue cities that are being run by lawless, crime-loving Democrats. And there's a real problem with crime, except we all know that it's the same statistics. In Trump world, you can either be loyal or you can tell the truth. But seemingly you can't do both. And Trump did not like what Kash Patel was saying, but it's the truth.
Mia, why is there so much conspiracy around the data when math is the one thing in the world that's supposed to be absolute? So why with numbers and statistics is there so much conspiracy theories around the data?
I mean, because individual cities and states change their reporting laws all the time, and they also pass their own legislation within themselves to reclassify things from felonies to misdemeanors and so on and so forth. So that kind of muddies up the data. But also, I mean, the data is taken from a human and input into a computer. And we all know humans lie, humans cheat, humans steal. And I mean, they've gone to jail. They've been literally in D.C. They've been stripped of their job, and they have admitted, including the police union, that they were changing the statistics, that they were making it better than what it actually was. I mean, you can Google this. This happened right in July, when they came out and there was prosecution and this person was fired. So, I mean, it's not a conspiracy per se. It's the fact that the data relies on humans, and we all know everybody has a narrative. And to say that people are completely inherently honest is a lie, because we know we've all met people that aren't inherently honest. And if it serves a particular narrative that they feel strongly about, people will bend the truth.
King J, do you feel like talking about crime is a fear tactic from Republicans?
I mean, for centuries, Republicans have always painted themselves as the law and order party. But we know that's just another racist slogan for them, to saying that the black people are the problem. So far as like what's going on right now about them talking about the data, I think this is just another example of the Trump administration and his appointees and the people that he has placed in charge, incapability of being on the same page. We've seen this before, where Trump says one thing and his appointee says one other thing, so we know that they're not on the same page, which I think points to a lot of disorganization and not a lot of communication within the administration, which is really embarrassing when we talk about being on the world stage. But I think this is just another way of them painting a narrative so that he can do what he want to do. And that's just my opinion.
Well, Doc, Kash Patel did say it was two Trump's policies why this was happening. So does Trump deserve the credit? Because that's what I hear from people. Well, it's because of Trump that the crime is down.
Hell no, Kash Patel know what I know. Left, right, conservative, any of that. You get up there and you say the wrong numbers, Trump will fire your ass. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Trump don't care what side you on. You get up here, he say 2 + 2 is 5. If you say it's 4, we gonna fire your ass. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Trump fired them boys left and right like they can't count. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't know. Hey, I don't know where them boys went to school at, but Trump do not give a damn. If he get up here, hey, if you gonna ride with him, you might as well be on the same page. Like I don't understand it, because you just gonna get fired. So I just don't get it myself personally, because I think like with deploying the National Guard, maybe some of that funds we could have stopped homelessness. Maybe with some of this foreign aid we giving out, we could have, fixed homelessness in these big cities and stuff like that. But that's just my opinion. But if he get up there and say it's 5 and you say it's 4, your ass gonna be at the unemployment office.
Well, Enzo, Trump, David Pacman was doing a lot of assumptions. Was Trump mad in that video, or was he completely wrong?
I mean, Kash is going to say what the data is going to tell him. At the end of the day, he's the head of the FBI. the police departments report, quote unquote, all the crime to them. So he's gonna have the sources. Like what Mia was saying about it not being reported, all of it for a reason. I have it right up here in front of me. There's strong evidence that many police departments in the United States do not report all crime to the FBI, leading to significant gaps in national crime statistics. In 2022 alone, 6,000 law enforcement agencies, only about 30% in the United States Department submitted all their crime data. It's 2022 alone. How are we really going to say these numbers are 100% accurate? Cash obviously is going to say whatever is in front of him. And I agree with Doc. I mean, he should just fall in line with Trump because that's your boss. Me, on the other hand, I'll call that shit out. No, like, he's just spewing what he has at the end of the day. That's what is reported. Obviously, we know that's false. We need the real numbers at the end of the day. All these police departments need to report all this crime so we can get real numbers to see what's really going on. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and bash democratic cities and anything like that, but I live in the Northeast. I've gone to New York, all over the Bronx. All 5 boroughs are a shithole with crime. I live in New Jersey. I've been to Trenton, Camden, the capital cities in the Northeast over here. They're all shitholes. Like, I'm sorry to say it. Like, crime is rampant in all these democratic cities that I've been to, that I've been around. It's not a secret. It's not because of Donald Trump or anything like that. We need to clean up these cities to make it safe for everybody. I 100% will agree with what they're doing because obviously DC PD cannot handle it. Somebody else needs to step in. My question is always going to be this until this is over with. What's the democratic solution? Are we just going to keep defunding the police and expecting crime to go down? Is that what we're going to do? How is that going to help?
Well, what people are basically saying is the hypocrisy of the right, and they're always going to bring up this date every single time, which is January 6th, because Trump was just watching the TV while this was happening, and so people are going to always use this against him.
You think it's because Trump cares about crime in D.C., really? Because I remember Donald Trump on January the 6th, 2021, not giving
Mehdi,
oh,
come on.
Now verb January 6th. Okay,
sorry, Mehdi, no, Mehdi, come on.
Let me finish my point.
Mehdi,
this is a short segment.
I know you said that. 150 police officers got hurt.
Hold on. You gave Bill O'Reilly a lot of time. Let me give an answer. I'm here for much shorter time. Let me speak. On January 6, 2021, you may want to move on for it. We all watched police officers in D.C. being attacked by a Trump-supporting mob, 150 injured, 600 people convicted.
Mehdi, you're going to sit here. We know the statistics of January 6th. Mehdi, you're going to sit here. Mehdi, you're going to sit here. Mehdi, you're going to sit here and say if Trump cures cancer, then January 6th was terrible. Okay, the fact of the matter is you can't have an argument. You can't have an argument about what's happening on the streets of D.C. without going back to January 6th.
Because it's about
you won't talk about actually the crime.
Donald Trump, Leland.
No, it's not. It's about how to have people be safe.
I said to you, Donald Trump doesn't care about crime in D.C. You said, yes, he does. And I said, I'm going to give you evidence to prove he doesn't. If he cared about crime in D.C., why did he pardon 600 people who assaulted police officers? You can't come and make this emotional claim.
Oh, come on, Mehdi. You can't. You're talking about completely different things.
You actually care about crime, then.
You cannot talk about this. There's completely different things going on.
Why?
What do you mean? Either I care about crime or I don't.
Where was the National Guard? Where was the National Guard on January 6th, 2021
come on! You can't
in DC?
No. This is silly. This is absolutely silly, Mehdi. You can't do this.
Why?
No, because it has nothing to do with what's happening or what the arguments are right now. Okay,
and
you can't. No, it has nothing to do with it.
Crime matters in D.C. The victims of crime matter in D.C. What about the cops in D.C.?
And I'm the only person who died on January 6th was a Trump supporter, and you can't talk about what's happening on the streets right now.
Let me know when you want me to speak.
No, you can't talk about any.
Oh King J, where was the National Guard on January 6th?
Shit, they won't nowhere. They won't nowhere. We didn't get. I can tell you this: it was motherfucking stationed in Maryland. If you know anything about the Guard around Maryland and Virginia and the other surrounding states, there's installations that are like almost 2 hours away from DC. It was people that were posted on post 2 hours away, stationed, ready to get the call to go into DC. never received it. I think it's very interesting when we talk about this because, one of the things that the right said is he didn't have the authority. He didn't have the authority. He never had the authority to call in the National Guard. But as we can see, the president is the commander in chief, and he can call these motherfuckers up whenever he wants to, as he does. So, I mean, it just points to hypocrisy uh, that continues to happen. But, I mean, so far as what's going on, man, I don't even know what to say. This shit is funny as hell. And, they can't hold on to power forever, and eventually, y'all gotta think about what's gonna happen on the left side. Because if you're gonna continue to do this extreme right ass shit, you don't think it's gonna be a counterbalance to this? Because this is absolutely crazy.
Well, before everybody else responds, let's actually hear from people that actually live in D.C.
It's fine, it's nothing wrong with D.C. that doesn't happen anywhere else, in the States. Just their presence is good if the D.C. police need assistance, but I don't think they need the National Guard. I've been robbed. I'm a legit citizen. I've been robbed and everything. So some cities are worse than D.C. and the crime rate has gone down.
And the young people, they are kind of out there. I don't know what their problem is, but they getting kind of outrageous. That's in D.C. and in Maryland and New York, everywhere.
He's just starting here, okay? He's not going to end with here. Let him know that he is going against the vast majority. Crime in D.C. is at a low, and he's using that for an excuse.
His accusations that crime is on the rise is baseless. I think it was one of the Doge folks that got mugged, and he's using that as this catalyst to militarize D.C., which is insanity to me. Insane overreach. It's completely unnecessary.
I think this is a way for him to take control of D.C. like he's been wanted to do. Crime has been down. Of course, you're going to take precautionary measures. You're going to make sure that you vigilant about, where you're walking and what's going on around you. But it's just the thing about